Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of our series. Today we're going to continue with the final project, the final part of the garment creation. We're still going to have more content. There's another extra chapter, chapter number 6, which is going to be the chapter dedicated to bringing the cloths out of Marvel Designer and into other softwares such as Maya, Blender, and Marmoset to create some nice renders over there. So yeah, this is the character I loaded in the avatar. We already have the arrangement points, so now let's get to work. We're gonna go here to the garment section. I'm gonna select this pants and just get them in there. Now, the most important thing, when you want things to fit and not collide as much, try to get the lowest point, in this case, the ankle, to be inside of the volume. It's a lot easier to bring this like bigger parts on the top inside of the character than to do the same thing for the ankle due to the collisions. So if we do this and we simulate, as you can see, the calves are not where they're supposed to be, but it's very easy to just push this out, and there we go. Now, one thing that I noticed, and you're going to be noticing this as well on your projects, is that due to the way I built this character, he seems to be leaning a little bit forward. He's like pushing his butt back. So yeah, we're going to have to tailor our suit or our garments to this type of body. So as you can see, like back here, for instance, I would definitely like to have a little bit less like a cloth or less amount of clothing. So I'm going to go into my transform point segment, grab this guy and just push it in a little bit. That's gonna, of course, make it a lot like smoother, closer to the character. There's always gonna be a gap, by the way. I'm not sure if we've talked about this gap or not, but it's right here on the, I think it's on the model itself. Yeah, it might be this skin offset thing. We can reduce that, or in the cloth as well. There's another option here. Ooh, here, the thickness collision, we can bring this thing lower or make it lower, and it should work a little bit better. However, I think for this, it looks fine, especially for games and stuff. It tends to look quite fine. So let's add the belt. He already has this thing going like above the line where I would like the belt to go. I do still think this is a little bit too low. So let's bring this up. There we go. Now, the only problem is we're getting a little bit of extra elements right there, or extra cloth. So we might need to, again, grab this point, keep it high, but make it smaller over here. So when we do this, there we go. It's a lot tighter overall. The high point, we might need to convert it into like a princess seam or something, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's just go over there. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to grab all of the segment points, the top segments of the pants. So that guy, and we're going to right click. Again, right click, and we're going to say offset as internal line. And I'm going to say 60 millimeters. So it's a sort of a thick belt that he's going to have right here. And yeah, that's it. That's going to be the line for my belt. If you want, you can cut and sew that line. No problem there. I think it might look good. So let's cut and sew. It's going to give us a little bit of an indentation right there. Now, usually, for instance, on the sides of the pants, if you're wearing jeans right now, I invite you to look down and see it. Usually on the sides of the pants, we have this very little thin line that that creates like a nice little border. And I think I want to add this on this pants as well. So I'm going to grab the outer edge on the front panels. So this front panel, so outer edge on the front panel. Let's go ahead and sew this because I don't want the line to go into the belt. So that's why it's a good idea to cut the element. And I'm going to select this line right here. And again, I'm going to offset this internal line. This tends to be really small, so I'm going to go 10 millimeters and hit OK. It's going to give me a nice little effect right there. Now, I'm not gonna, what's the word? I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to, oh my God, my mind just got like completely frozen, or it froze completely. So I don't want to cut this. I want to keep this thing here because we're going to be sewing on top of this. I just want the strip. I want to get the strip out of this piece. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to Control C, Control B this guy. And then on this new guy, I am going to cut this piece. So here we're going to cut and sew. And that way we can just delete this piece right here. And there we go. We have this very nice thin line right here on the side of the character. Now, if it has any sewings, which I don't think it does right now, you need to delete them to make sure that this does not create any problems. I'm gonna Control C, Control R to bring it over here. Select one, select the other, right click, and we're gonna symmetric pattern with sewing. And now we're gonna sew this thing with segment sewing back to the little line that we have here. Actually, instead of that, we're gonna use free sewing. So from there to there, from there to there. And then from there to there, from there. Oh, let's do that again. From there to there. Some of you might be wondering why wouldn't we use something like what's the word? Like clone over, clone under. We might get a different result. I prefer using this method for this particular element. And again, we go all the side, and we go all the side. Perfect. So now, when we now, as you can see, the little lines are all the way down here, and it might create some issues with the simulation. One very quick thing you can do is you can just select this guy right here, like select this guy right here, and then shift select this one and say align. And then, or sorry, it's not align. It's order. Where is it? Was superimpose over and superimpose under. I'm just gonna bring this thing. That's fine. In this case, let's make it easier. Just move this thing up here and move this thing up here. So now when we simulate, that little like extra band is gonna be sewn into that piece. Now, as we know, these two bands are gonna need a lot more particle density. So we're gonna bring this all the way down to like 5, because otherwise we're not gonna get enough detail. And now see how we get that nice little like puffy line on the side? It's gonna make our pants look really, really, really cool. Now you could add one of those on the inside as well if you want. I think I'm just gonna keep mine on the outside, but I would like to add it on the lower part of the belt though. So I'm gonna grab the belt, and we can sew it together. That would be an option. I'm pondering whether that's a good idea or not. Now let's keep it like this for now. I think we're gonna add it on the top instead. So I'm gonna go into this guys right here. Again, select the upper edges, right click, offset as internal line. 10 millimeters is fine. There we go. And now this one I'm actually gonna cut and sew. So right click, cut and sew. And now for this one, just so you guys see the difference, we're gonna use the clone over under. So right click, clone over, layer clone over. And that's, of course, when we do that, right click, layer clone over. When we do that, what's gonna happen is they're gonna be puffing out a little bit more as well, because we're gonna get that nice little seam over there. Important thing to do as well, grab all of those guys, the new ones, right click, or wait, are we missing one? Yeah, we're missing one here. So layer clone over, there we go. So grab all of them and lower the particle distance again to like a 5 or something. So when we simulate, we get that nice little like puffy effect on the border. Cool. So yeah, that's the first like little detail. Now another detail that I would like to add here on the pants is usually in male pants you're gonna have the zipper, right? Let me show you here. So it's this sort of like zipper and stitching that we have here. And well, when we go to the bathroom, instead of pulling our pants all the way down, especially when we are peeing, we just pee through that little sewn hole that we have there. Now the hole, as you can see that there, usually extends a little bit farther to the side, as you can see here. So the zipper is usually hidden in between those lines. So there's like an internal line over here. I'm gonna do it a little bit more like jeans. So we're gonna have the shape on the outside. So on this part right here. And we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna go here, internal line. Let's go like about there, control, and then let's go like there. Just hit enter, there we go. Probably need to move that point a little bit more. So I'm gonna go to transform point segment. And let's move that point out a little bit more. There we go. So this side looks really, really nice. Same trick that we did before. I'm just gonna copy and paste this thing. So like that internal line, cut and sew. And that's gonna give us a little shape here, this guy. We're gonna bring it to about this area. And we're gonna use free sewing to sew this thing on that area while leaving the little gap on the front. So boom, there we go. Just gonna leave the little gap there, kind of open. Right now it's It's quite open. I would like to make it a little bit less open, to be honest. So I'm gonna use my transform point, and let's see if we can make this a little bit shorter. That's gonna, of course, straighten it up. There we go. That's a little bit better. Now it looks a little bit too straight, but maybe if we give it a little bit more particle distance, it'll look a little bit better as well. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. And the cool thing about this is we can actually grab this line right here, the curvature, and just push it a little bit out, so it kind of goes over to the other side. And that way we save a little bit. So you can see the stitching there. I'm gonna turn off internal lines so we can appreciate the cuts of the elements a little bit more. I think now this is a little bit too low. So again, I'm gonna go to my transform point segment, and or actually too high. So I'm gonna bring this down and bring this down as well. There we go, much better. Now again, if we check the reference, there's usually a seam right there on the inside of this thing. So I'm gonna grab this guy. I am gonna again offset this internal line. In this case, I think I'm gonna go a little bit smaller, so like 6 millimeters. Hit OK, and then we're gonna cut and sew that line. And this one we're gonna layer clone over, so that we get that again, that little like puffy shape right there. See? Cool, right? Not bad for this. For this first section. Now, pockets. I'm gonna do pockets, the side pockets for now. As you can see, we have this side pockets. These side pockets are sewn in the inside, or into the inside of the pants. We're gonna be doing these pockets on the next video, which are a little bit more, I wouldn't say difficult, but they're slightly different. But we need to do these pockets first. So the pockets, as we know, are gonna go roughly or usually from the belt line to this side seam right here. So we're gonna do something very similar here. I am gonna create with my internal line. Let's say I'm gonna say from there. I want to have like very straight pockets, kind of like military style. So something like this. Actually, gonna stop on the seam right there. There we go. Yeah, those look cool. Now I do think I'm gonna change the curvature. Now that I see it, I'm gonna give it a little bit more curvature. Because I do want them to be a little bit bigger. They seem to be slightly small right there. So let's go again into transform point segment and just move the segment up. There we go. That's a lot closer to what I would expect. So yeah, that's gonna be my internal line. Now this internal line, we actually do need to do something about it, right? And here's what you're gonna have to decide. Do I want this character to be able to put his hands on the pockets, or do we just want the pockets for decoration? I think this one's we're gonna leave for decoration, but if you wanted to build the inside of the pockets, just think about this. We need to create another layer on the inside and then make sure that everything is sewn together. So you can imagine that if I were to create like a polygon shape right here, we'll have to create like the pocket and then sew this pocket to the back side of this thing. And then we will have the internal pocket. I don't think we need it right now for this internal or for this shoulder. So I think we're just gonna add like the little line there to make it seem like there's a pocket, even though we don't have anything. So grab this guy, right click, and we're gonna extend trim to pattern outline to make sure that we hit the pattern outline. And I'm gonna grab this line, right click, and we're gonna offset this internal line, or right click, yeah, I wanna, okay, I think we're gonna have to cut this piece out. So right click, cut and sew. There we go. So the pocket's now out on both sides. This would be the pocket. So again, this is the thing that we would need to extend. We need to extend this and create a little pocket there. I don't think we want to do it right now. So let's go to the pattern, grab this line, right click, and again, offset this internal. There we go. Now this one, we will go 10 millimeters, hit OK. And that's the line of the pocket that's getting built into the element. Yeah, what else can we do here? Yeah, offset it. So again, Control C, Control B. Gonna bring it down here. Or no, sorry. My bad. I'm getting the steps mixed up. Over here, we grab the segment point again, right click, cut and sew. And now this little piece that we have here, let's move a couple of things around so we have a little bit more space. You can see we're gonna have to do the same thing over here because they're not linked. So this guy, cut and sew. Oh no, it is cut, perfect, okay. So just grab both of them, right click, layer clone over. Let's keep them there, close. And again, we're just gonna Start moving some patterns around to keep our workspace organized and know which one is up, which one is down. Because that's the problem. We're gonna have a lot of little like things here and there, but that's exactly what's gonna give us this sort of like effect. There we go. So as you can see, we have that, and of course, we select the upper ones. We only need to select the upper ones. We don't need to change the particle densities on the lower ones because we're not gonna be seeing them, and we're gonna hit simulate. It's gonna puff them out a little bit, and again, it's gonna simulate the fact that we have pockets over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna stop the video right here for now, and in the next one, we're gonna be talking about the other types of pockets, the pockets that are shown into the character. Okay, so hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.